Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Face the Truth. This is going to be a fun one. I am going to be talking with my good buddy, Grigor, and we decided just to have a good chat. We haven't been able to hang out for a long time. We both live in Chicago, but because of this malarkey, we can't hang out, so we figured we'd catch up. Grigor is also an awesome artist. Many of you know who he is, so I figured, hey, why not do another podcast? We can talk about art. We can talk about life. We can talk about who we're fucking, who we're not, all kinds of fun stuff like that. I'm more interested in knowing that about Grigor, as I am happily married and about to have a baby. Well, my wife is, not me. That would be weird. Anyways, please, everybody, welcome my friend Grigor, Eftimov.
How's it going?
Thanks for doing this, man.
No problem.
So we haven't gotten to hang out for a long time, and it's weird. It's very strange, this whole thing that's going on, being in the city, but not being able to hang out with people. It's very weird.
Yeah.
So how have you been? What's been going on?
I've been all right. Just the past week, haven't done too much. Finished the design that I was doing for a mural, and finally was able to get back into the studio a couple of days ago. And this whole I like to call it, some like to call it human malware. There's a malware with computers. Some people call it human malware. So I kind of like the terminology instead of the official terminology. Yeah. Not much. Just kind of, to be honest, it's been like the longest last week. This week is going by much faster, but the last week felt like it was 3 months. I don't know why, but just being stuck at home and just eating and sleeping in and being like, what's going on here? What day? It feels like a forever Sunday. Like you wake up on Sunday and it's just like today. I didn't realize. Okay, today's Friday, so this is strange. Being on like a regular routine where you have students and class and stuff, and you got to be somewhere. Now it's just kind of messed me up a little bit. So kind of getting my routine back in routine. So
it is weird, man. It's a very strange feeling. I mean, for me, like I've just been feeling like I've been trying to be positive about things, and I'm not. We're trying to be safe, not go out too much. I'm trying to just make quick runs to stores to get things, but I mean, I think because we're about to have a baby, and I've got 3 other kids, and then 2 of them have to go back and forth. I get nervous about that right now, but I haven't been sleeping, man. Like I've been staying up way too late, and then when I go to bed, I can't sleep. I think I'm so anxious. I think, you know what I mean? Like what the hell is going on? It's like surreal. It's trippy.
Well, what's crazy is that like about a week ago when this whole thing started, like the first couple of days, I was really anxious and really stressed out, and I actually had a fever.
It freaked me out when you wrote me that.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, I think I have a fever, and I'm like cold and I'm sweating. And funny, the worst part is that like I didn't have a thermometer. And so I had to go out and try to get one, and there's no thermometers anywhere. And a good buddy of mine, actually a student, he actually he came out of his way and drove out and brought me a thermometer.
Oh, that's awesome.
So that was awesome. So yeah, then I checked my temperature and it was like 87 points. No, I'm sorry, 87, 97.8, I think it was something. It was definitely below even the average. So it was fine.
That's good.
That freaked me out a little bit. I think it was just stress induced. And it happens sometimes. I rarely get sick. So when I thought that, I was like, okay, what's going on? Then I started believing certain things. I'm like, okay, this is not good. But then, I'm fine.
Yeah, I know there's so much crap out there. It's crazy. I was in New York in February, and I have like without all this stuff going on, I think I'm sort of a germaphobe because I can't stand even in Chicago riding on the train and touching the poles and stuff. I always get creeped out by that. But when I was in New York, I was with some friends and they were kind of making fun of me because I couldn't touch the poles on the subway. And then I did, and then I was creeped out by it, and then I had to go to this dinner party, and everyone wants to shake my hand and say hi, and I was literally like, I gotta go to the bathroom, and I went in and just washed it. It had nothing to do with this. It's just it's to me, as soon as I touch one of those subway poles, I'm like immediately I can feel all the nastiness of like creeps masturbating on the train and whatever else goes on, and then so. But when I got back from New York, I got hit with a terrible flu, like really bad, where I think it was like 103 or 104. My temperature was really high one night, and just shaking, terrible headache, coughing, every single thing that it sounds like the corona thing. Everything was that. But it was before this was being taken all that seriously, and I didn't go to the doctors. I just sweated it out. I slept in separate rooms, and it was like 2 days of just misery, and then about a week and a half to recover. I felt like I got hit by a truck. I just felt so terrible. But then the worst part is then Sienna, all of a sudden, like it was interesting. She wasn't, and for those of you listening, Sienna is my 2-year-old, and she was fine as far as she was happy, she was playful, but she was burning up, like just her whole body was so hot. But she was never upset or crying, and we were worried. We took her temperature. It was like I can't remember exactly how high. I think it was like 102. We're like, okay, let's try to bring this down. We brought it down, and then all of a sudden one day she just went from being happy to all like almost passing out, like she's not doing well, and her temperature was way up. So we rushed her to the children's hospital, and they tested her, and she tested positive for the flu. So they gave her the medicine and everything. So I must have gotten the flu. I'm assuming I had the flu because she got it. But that was like really scary and weird because like literally maybe the week after all this stuff started getting crazy. So I don't know. It's just I just worry more about like people out there that are being stupid, that are not taking it seriously. That's the thing that's troublesome to me. Like people still insisting on hanging out in huge groups and doing all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I just couldn't find a mask anywhere.
Me neither.
I made one out of rubber bands and a paper towel, and it's kind of weird that that's not available. I do still have a full half-face respirator. I used to do
airbrush stuff.
When I used to do asbestos removal. So like it's crazy. I say now it's like this is it. This is how people are living. Like
Joe Bloom was like wearing one of those things going grocery shopping. Like, it's awesome.
Well, it's my buddy Derek. He's actually 3D printing them.
Oh wow.
He's actually 3D printing them, and that's pretty cool. But it does take a little while. You can make all kinds of funky things if you want. I guess you should get like the old school. The ones with the long beaks. Remember those?
Oh yeah, dude.
During like the plagues and stuff like that. What the hell is that the doctors use, or with the goggles and stuff?
That would be awesome, man.
Yeah, there's some cool.
Like a freaking Star Wars character walking around.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, Jackie was trying to make one. I've actually been not wanting her to go anywhere, just to be extra safe. She insisted on running to a store this morning, though. But I mean, I think the weirdest part about this is just you're just like kind of locked inside, which most of us as artists already are like that, anyways. So it's what's eerie about it is the fact that everyone is doing that, and then when you go to a store, how strange everything feels. Like this thing keeps happening to me. Where, like if someone tells you they have bed bugs or something like that, and then you start feeling itchy, right? As soon as I go to like a Target or a grocery store or something, I start like getting a cough. Like I have to cough. I see all the people in masks and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to cough so bad, but I don't want to. I don't want to be that asshole where people are like, what are you doing here? But I can't help it. Every single time I go, I'm like, oh. I was walking Capone the other day, and this old man was standing by his truck, had a mask on, and it just like all of a sudden, as soon as I get near the guy, I'm like, I start coughing, and I could see him like freak out, and it's just like, it's like a weird tick. I don't know what it is, man.
Dude, don't be that guy in a store doing that. They're gonna like evacuate like
dude,
store.
The whole
and, like,
time I'm trying, like, oh, please don't cough, please don't cough.
Well, there's cases where people like prank that shit, and then like they have to throw away all this food and.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
Things happen.
No, I'm not doing it on purpose. I like genuinely get like this. I'm like, I was with my daughter, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to cough so bad, and she's like, Dad, don't cough. Like I can't help it. And then as soon as we get outside, I'm just like, oh, it's just weird. I don't know what's going on with that. It's just strange. But anyways, so besides that, what have you been doing to keep yourself? You been doing any drawing or anything?
I've seen a lot of people. I mean, I don't do too much online interacting. Like I just post artwork and stuff, but I do like I do go online and I see people's posts, and some people have been saying like they feel for whatever reason they're just down. It's gotten them down like mentally. And so in the beginning, like I actually started just getting rid of like stuff, throwing away stuff, clearing stuff, and for a while, I got this new studio and I was like charged up to get it going and stressing that. But like all of a sudden everything kind of came to a halt. And after I did that like mural design that I'm going to work on, like it's supposed to be at the end of this month. I hope it still goes through. After that, I just felt like, I don't know, like I have all these things I want to do, but for some reason now this mindset that everyone has is just like affecting me. And I usually don't let those things happen, but like I remember one day where like I absolutely felt like I did nothing, and that's really rarely ever the case. I always feel like I've got too much on my plate, or I want to do too much. I never get it through, and this time I just felt like I don't want to do a fucking thing, and I rarely feel that way. And I think it's just the routine and knowing that things are the way they are, and certain uncertainty. I mean, being freelance is kind of like that already, but when people around you are like that, I start to absorb it, I think, and it starts to mess with me. But anyway, like I just got into the studio a couple of days ago and I started working on a painting. I got one of these models here that I drag out of a closet and I just like stuffed them again. No, I'm just joking. No, anyway, I've got like photo references that I've taken over the years, like I kind of like, why not use it? So there's something I started. Hopefully I'll post it up. And also another thing is I've had people reach out to me about doing online classes, and I'm like right now in my studio and it's like empty, and I got all these easels everywhere, and it's really nice in here, and it's just a shame that I can't hold class. So I got to look into like doing online classes and stuff, and it's something that traditionally this sort of setup is always done like in person. And it's a very one-on-one sort of experience. Like you need to be there to show examples. You need to like be there to correct people's like habits, stuff like that. And this is going to be a new territory for me. But there is a couple of students that I'm starting to work with, and we'll see how it goes. But
yeah. I mean, you could also. I mean, this could be cool just for the future in general. I think it would be cool to do something online. It would be a different way of doing it, but a lot of people would benefit from it.
Yeah, I mean, regardless of how long this lasts, I still want to definitely develop it and have it as an option. It's just that also, I also do storyboarding work, and that's slowed down tremendously. And the teaching part has been has taken a great deal of my time, and like I enjoy it tremendously outside of like anything that I want to do, but. If I can incorporate that somehow where people outside of, if something like this were to happen again, I hope not, whether it does or doesn't, it's there for people. And I just want to try to like, refine it to a point where, it's accessible also. So,
yeah, no, I'm trying to do this something new for Schoolism, a whole new class. So I haven't started recording it yet. I'm mostly just like writing down and thinking about how it's going to be, but it's going to be something new where it's sort of like workouts where instead of like doing like hour-long or 2-hour-long classes, like it's going to be more like, well, I can't remember now if he said, because I've been talking with Bobby about it, but it might be like 30 minutes to an hour, where it's just basically like, you draw along with me, basically. You know what I mean? Like it's like we pick someone and we just talk about it, and we just it's like an exercise, And you can do like several different versions of it. And so it's instead of like long drawn out like the way the courses are now, which they're still going to stay up there, but the way they are now, it's like 9 lessons, that takes like I think 12 weeks or whatever. This is going to be more like you can go at your own pace and just kind of just have it's more like drawing exercises and whatever. That's what they're trying to do for schools, and with some extra classes, I guess. So anyways, I'm still trying to figure out what to do with that, but I've been trying to keep busy and slow down a lot for me as well. So hopefully things pick up. I have a few things I'm working on, but it's just so weird, man.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny. Like people, everyone that I've known that had steady jobs are like freaking out. I'm like, dude, this is how freelance artists is. This is how it is. Like we're always freaking out. We're always like not knowing when the next job is going to come through. You know, it's like that sort of uncertainty is just even more so now. But that's something I think a lot of freelance artists have to worry about a lot. You know?
And I worry about. I mean, that's the thing is like that there's so much that's being affected by this. Like I mean. It's interesting. Like I respect the virus, and it's not like I'm not worried about it. I do respect it, but and I'm more worried about people like my dad getting it, because he's literally has the shittiest set of lungs in the world. And I worry if he got it, he would just not make it, But what I worry about more is just like the after effect of this, like what it's going to do to like businesses and everything. It's just, that's what's creepy. And the unknown of what's, where this is going to lead to. There's so many, and there's also just so many people just saying so much crap out there. And, and to be honest, Chicago, this is the weirdest thing I've ever experienced. It's very strange in Chicago. Like even like when you go outside at night, I take my dog out at night, there's no cars. And what I mean by that is not even that distant city sound where you just hear the noise of the city. There's just nothing. It's just quiet. Yeah. And that's weird. I've heard that before. But then, you think, oh, this is crazy. But then you turn on the news and you see what's going on in New York, and it just seems like World War Z there. Yeah. And it's like, I've been talking with Fred that lives there and a couple other artists, friends of mine. Man, this is like, it's like what 1 minute you feel like, oh, maybe, this is getting better or something. And then all of a sudden you see a whole new news article that's just like, what the fuck is going on, man? It's getting worse in certain areas. It's just like, like you keep sending me things like, oh, check this out. I'm like, oh, great. Yeah. Yeah, it's weird, man. But the one thing that I think has been kind of cool about this whole thing is, sounds weird to say that, cool about this, but what I mean is that I have seen a lot of creativity coming out of this from a lot of people. A lot of people are doing more to connect. It's building a lot more community between people. I think that this is bringing a lot of people together, and a lot of things have been happening. People doing awesome things to like help other people out. So that's that's been kind of a cool thing, and hopefully this is something that stays with us. You know what I mean? Because I think that's important, especially in the art world, that we can all kind of come together during this kind of a thing. But it's weird. I was talking with Joe about this, and it's just like, it's weird. Like in our lifetime, we've never experienced anything like this. You know what I mean? And that's what's nerving about it, is that, we've experienced certain things, but nothing like this. And so we don't know what this means. And then you've got all the conspiracy theories out there, the people that like to, jump on that bandwagon right away, and it's like, it's the end of the world as you know it, and everyone's like, dude, there's going to be a one world order. Everyone's going to have to take the mark of the beast. Jesus is going to be riding a unicorn. Watch out. So it's just a lot of craziness out there at the same time. I don't know, man. It's weird. And it's strange. You watch like when you watch news articles, sometimes like someone will say something completely different, like you go from one news channel to the other. Yeah. And just like watching Trump right now is like when he talks about this, I don't know if have you been able to watch any of it? It's so crazy.
Well, I'm not the biggest fan of his, but people who know me know how I feel. But
yeah,
at the same time, it's just sometimes hard to stomach some things that I hear, and I hear it through word of mouth a lot of times, and then I'll catch glimpses of it. I just it's to me it's just a cringe. I just feel cringe. That's the best way to put it. It's just cringe.
But you're just like watching him bumble. You're watching him bumble around on this, like, it's really not. He goes from it's really not that bad to, everyone should be prepared for a terrible 2 weeks. A lot of people are gonna die.
Yeah, I get. Yeah, I get. He's not a. Yeah.
He goes from one thing to the next. Like, wait a minute. I guess I was wrong. It turns out this virus is fantastic. It's a brilliant virus.
I get he's not like a politician. He was not bred that way. Like I get that, but it's like that. I can't. It's hard to like overcome that feeling I get when I feel embarrassed for someone sometimes, even if their intentions are good. You know what I mean? It's just difficult. Yeah. I'm like, what are you doing here, man? Like, have someone else in your place.
That's exactly what I mean. That's exactly what I'm saying. Is like, it's like, what the heck is going on, dude? Like, and the weirdest part, of course, is that it's like the election is right around the corner. The Democrats have nobody. Joe Biden's a lunatic. He's a crazy old man, and he's almost when he talks, it's almost just as bad. It's like, what the heck? What is going on?
Doesn't he have like dementia or something like that? Like he just can't.
Dude, it seems like he does, dude. I don't know, man. This is definitely a trippy time, man.
There's a Genesis song, like the Land of Confusion.
Yeah.
That old school with all the puppets and stuff. This is literally what it feels like. This is literally, with Reagan waking up. Oh man, I had a.
Oh yeah.
He's all stoked. Remember that? And he's like running around with like it's all caricaturized, right? That's why I love it. I love this. So, it's all caricaturized. It's all puppets and stuff like that. It's it's like whoa. So. Another thing, like this all relates back to like art, of course, but like in caricature is that like I literally thought that's what caricature should be. I literally thought that's what it should be: grotesque, it should be exaggerated, it should be like making fun of, it should be like insanely out there, And there was a part where he's like running around in a Superman outfit, like it looks like he's wearing pajamas and stuff. It's Ronald Reagan. I'm like, this is insanely hilarious.
Isn't that what's that company that made those puppets? Because I see it in my mind right now.
I don't remember.
They were awesome, dude. So good.
Well, was it the same company that did like the Dark Crystal? It's just really out there. Like it looks like I don't know. It's so old. It's pretty old.
Yeah. No, I know what you're talking about. It's in the tip of my tongue. Like it's amazing. It's so good. And then Nancy Reagan was awesome.
Nancy. Yeah. Like, Nancy, I had like the craziest dream, and then he hits the. Yeah. And then I think he hits the nuke or orders. I don't know. I saw it the other day again. I'm like, man, this is so like, why is this so relevant right now? Everything feels like it's like that.
Have you been watching any like shows or anything that you've been really into?
I never watch shows. all the time. People are like, I've never seen. It's pretty embarrassing. I don't watch too many shows. I think I had been out without like cable TV for like the last 15 years, 20 years, I think. And just recently I got like Netflix. I just
Mm-hmm.
I just listen to music when I work or you know, I don't know. I just don't have I can't like watch a show and do something because there's so many shows I haven't watched. You know what I mean? So like I get
Yeah.
distracted. So, like, you know what I mean? Like it took me like 2 seasons to get into like say Game of Thrones, and I couldn't just watch it. I like binge watched it, and that's a problem. So I can't just like you know what I mean?
Have,
I can't just have it there.
well, I mean, especially now since we have a little bit more time than normal, you should check out the Ozark show that's on Netflix.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
the season 3 just came out. It's one of the best shows I've seen, and I just finished the new season. But it's like, I think you'd really dig that show because it's really, I don't know, it's hard to explain. I guess it's sort of like Breaking Bad a little bit, maybe.
Okay.
Um,
It's another show
I
that
don't
I
know.
watched. Right.
Yeah, it's really good though. It's really good. Of course, everyone's talking about that Tiger King thing. I don't know if you saw any of that.
Dude, I
Um,
haven't. I've seen
it's
some clips of it. Yeah.
so weird, dude. Did you see Don't Fuck with Cats?
Dude.
You should watch that one, dude.
Oh man,
You
that's
should.
another backlog of things I need to watch.
That one will drive you crazy. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but the first episode is like really difficult to watch because there's some things that have to do with hurting animals. They don't really show too much of it, but they explain it all, and you're like, what in the world is going on? But then, right before the episode ends, the plot thickens, and you're like, what? And every episode takes you, and it's a true story following this crazy thing that happened. I definitely recommend watching that show. It's crazy, man. It's basically about a bunch of people online that started noticing some crazy person doing terrible things to animals, but he was doing it anonymously. They couldn't find him, and they all put their resources together to try to figure out who this person was. And while doing that, they end up discovering so much more, and it turns into like way worse than anything. It's crazy, dude. Like literally, I watched it with my daughters, my older girls, and Jackie, and we were just looking at each other with our just mouths dropped the whole time. Like, what?
Oh, man.
You should. It's good. It's really done well.
Okay.
And it's like really weird because I don't know if it was Ava. I think Ava's the one that she started watching it on her own, and she's like, oh yeah, I was just watching this thing, and I'm like, what is this thing you're watching? Don't Fuck with Cats? What the heck? And so like I got curious about it, and I never heard of it before. So we started over and watched the first episode, and I just was like, and Ava was like, oh, just wait. You know, she's like, you just wait.
Oh,
Like
really?
wait, yeah. That's definitely a good one. But yeah, it's funny. I've been mostly, I've been doing some work stuff during the day, and then, yesterday we took Sienna to the park for like, maybe an hour or something, let her run around in like the grass for a little bit with a soccer ball. But mostly we've been just inside, and then at night I usually just like hang out with my teenage girls. And like last night, Isabel and I watched Alien. She never really saw it.
The original one, the first one.
Yeah, and it still holds down good, man. She was freaked out and stuff.
It's like the best one, man.
It's such a
if
good
they
movie.
Yeah, dude, the atmosphere in that was freaking phenomenal. If they just update like maybe replace the aliens with CG or enhance it somehow, because that's the only thing I think like you notice.
Yeah.
Because the sets are so well done, and that really sets it all up. And I think when you see the aliens, you're like, okay, I can tell that's,
Yeah.
it's what it is, and it definitely, it's no different than when I see like Stanley Kubrick's like, Space Odyssey. Like I love that movie so much, but like in the beginning with the apes and stuff like that,
Yeah.
like you obviously they're costumes and stuff like that, so that kind of like breaks the immersion. But I think if they, I don't know, maybe if they do or if they don't, but like that movie to me is like amazing,
Yeah.
It's just some things like that they just update it just a little bit, not go overboard, just to make it, because
Yeah, like I mean, with Alien though, like I kind of in a way like how the Alien is a little bit, because it feels unnatural, and that kind of passes for something. But like, are you talking more like when the little one busts out and runs across the thing? Because most
stuff
of
like that.
They don't really show the alien too much though in the movie, which I thought is really good. It's like,
yes,
it's a little bit more like Hitchcocky, where they suggest a lot more. But there's like space scenes though in it that I think where like they'll show like the window with the like with like the beams separating the glass planes on the ship, and you can just see it just looks like almost like a cardboard set. Some of those shots, like those shots, I think definitely could be, but it was still it's still a good movie,
I think a lot of it has to do with everything being so high res now.
Yeah.
And back in the day when things weren't like that, and you just had like the CRT TV, you probably didn't notice a lot of things, and a lot of that sort of dither and sort of filter almost kind of masked a lot of the information that it made it more cinematic, I guess, right? But like when things are HD, 4K, and like super high res, you start to notice the discrepancies more. I think you start to notice the oddities, or like the things that can't be hidden as well. And I think over time, things like that don't age well. I think that's what it is mostly.
Well, it's yeah, that's true. We were, Sienna is starting to get at that age now where she's loving Pixar movies, and so we've been watching like Incredibles with her, and I just watched Brave with her. She loved that movie. But it's interesting watching like I just watched Monsters Inc. with her yesterday, and I remember when that movie came out. I went to the movie theater when that came out, and I remember just my mind being blown away. It was like, wow, this is amazing. And yesterday I'm watching it with her. I'm like, wow, this looks like everything looks like plastic. And it's just crazy, like how even we have evolved in our expectations so much, where when that first came out, it was like, wow, this is mind blowing, to now it's like, wow, that's, it's interesting. It's a really interesting thing to think about. Have you seen Frozen 2 by any chance? I'm not thinking you're. Well, you know what, dude? Believe it or not, that movie is so awesome.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I've watched it like a few times now with the girls. It is so funny. It is like every single time I watch that movie, I am like laughing, like literally genuinely laughing out loud. The snowman character in that is so hilarious. Like the first movie, I don't know did you see the first one? I don't know why you did? It's okay. It sets it up, whatever. But the snowman is kind of a new character in that movie and everything. But in the second one, he just steals the show like every scene. And I'm telling you, dude, it is the funniest thing, man. I don't know. It's funny because I've been watching movies with Sienna that I haven't really watched, and like I watched Pets 2. Pets 2 is like such an awesome movie. It's so funny. Like Kevin Hart is like this little teeny bunny rabbit.
Oh my god.
Patton Oswalt is the main dog in it. And first of all, the character design, the style of even the way they caricature the city of New York, and just all the different animals. Harrison Ford's like this old dog in it, and it's all these different characters. The story is fantastic. It's hilarious. Like I'm literally watching this. I thought Pets 2. I thought it was just like a little kid movie, Yeah. And I just put it on to try to entertain Sienna. And before you know it, I'm like, well, wait, I want to finish this. Like I was like loving it. I'm like dying laughing. I mean, there's like scenes in it that are so funny that you can tell like they're having a blast making them.
Do I have to see the first one to understand the second one?
Yeah, I don't think so. No, it's funny. The first one is Louis C.K. is the main dog, and of course he's out now. He's he's been banned from everything
for a while.
So now Patton Oswalt is the main character. He's the same dog but just different voice. But it's hilarious, man. And there's the thing that like caught me off guard. I wasn't ready for it. Is there's a scene where the little bunny that's Kevin Hart, he starts like rapping. Like, this music comes on and he's like panda, panda, panda. And he's like rapping about a panda bear, And it's so hilarious. I was like literally dying, and Jackie's like, "You're really liking this, aren't you?" And I'm like, "This is hilarious, dude." It's pretty good, man. But anyways, hey, let's ask some questions. We've got some questions for you. So let me go to that. I'm just gonna go from the top and just kind of go down.
Okay.
First question from Sam King Davis is, what time? That's what time question. Okay.
Right.
So he said because we're going live on ISKA at 2 p.m. ISKA, you can do what you want. That's fine. This is being pre-recorded. You can always watch this later. Okay. You can just send your questions in. Anyways, it doesn't matter. Tom Faraci asked if you saw American Caricature, the documentary they did.
Oh, so yeah, unfortunately, and I'm embarrassed to say I haven't. And to be honest, a couple people brought it to my attention that they saw it, and I haven't seen it, and I have been meaning to see it. So no, I have not seen it yet. And
I think it's still up. I think they're still streaming it somewhere, so you can check. You're in it a little bit.
Okay.
You and your big old beard and that big nosy that you won.
Big stupid beard, yeah, it's gone. So
that nosy that you won. It's all in there. I saw it. I saw it in Memphis at the Caricature Convention, and it's really really good. They did an amazing job. It's the story is done well. A lot of interviews with artists. It's cool hearing. It's different from all kinds, like me and you and Joe Bloom and Tom Richmond, different people that are more into illustration side of it, and then there's a ton of stuff with like the caricature artists that travel, like Manny and stuff that travel around, and Tom and just tons of awesome artists having a good time. So it's really done well. It's very entertaining. Glenn, there's some cool stuff in there with Glenn, and to talk a little bit about Glenn's story and stuff. And it's really good. They did an amazing job. So Noah Katzier asks, what do you like most about oil painting, and what do you absolutely hate about it? I don't know if you hate it.
What do I like most about it? To me, it literally feels like you're sculpting with like a medium. It feels more like sculpting than it is painting. I don't know if that makes sense. I really enjoy the molding process. I enjoy all of it. Cleanup.
Is that what you hate?
I hate cleanup. I hate the most. I just hate. I'm lazy. I'm first to admit it. I am lazy when it comes to cleanup. I just want to this is why I also try to keep my palette organized as possible, because whenever I'm more likely to just make another pile somewhere, yet my palette is a mess and I need to stop what I'm doing and like scrape down my palette and remix paint. And that's also part of just keeping things organized. I just enjoy the medium itself. Growing up, I never used oil paint. In high school, I used like egg tempera a lot because that's what was available and it was cheap, and acrylic. And I used to try to make acrylic act like oil paint because you can blend, with oil paint. I'm like, oh man, I can't wait one day. I'm gonna use oil paint and I can blend, and all this stuff, right? And I'm here with acrylic, trying my best to keep it wet and blend with it, But now with oil paint, I treat it more like acrylic, where like I do very minimal blending. Actually, I do a lot more sculpting, I can say. And it's funny how that worked out, But I just enjoy the vibrancy of the color, I guess. I use very little color, to be honest. I mean, I can literally show you what's on my palette right now. It's just 4 colors, pretty much universally I use. The only thing I also don't like is sinking in, like where it looks matte and the oil separates from the medium. And that can be a various degree. There's a various degrees of like factors in that. That could be the paint itself. That could be the surface. It's just like you never know. You never know what you're gonna get. And some surfaces, no matter how many times I gesso it sinks in. some canvases, it's cheap and it doesn't sink in. I get like the nicest linen. It still sinks in. It can be maddening, you know. That's probably cleanup and like the sinking in process, you know. And
yeah.
But I do enjoy it a lot. I don't know. It's like I said, it feels more like sculpting than anything else. I like the process. I usually like the process with all the mediums. Painting is definitely much more technical. It can be exhausting sometimes, like physically exhausting, mentally exhausting. Like, you know, sometimes I go into mindset where I just jump in and just like start painting. A lot of times I have to prepare myself and I do a lot of planning, you know, like, but all in all, I do enjoy like most of it, but cleanup kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Especially if you let it dry on your palette and you haven't touched it in weeks.
Yeah, and you got to scrape it all off.
It sucks. That's why I use like a really big like glass palette.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, as a student, I would just sharpen all my charcoal the day before, because again, I just hated sharpening charcoal. I would, you know, we would, one of the habits we had as a student was come in early and pre-mix your palette, like get your palette set up for the model, because, you know, mixing paint takes time, you know, and sometimes you're not out of paint, you have enough paint, and so like it's all like just preparation and just getting into a certain habit. You know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. That's really good. Makes sense. Dan Springer asks, what do you think of the new Bob Dylan song? Did you hear that by any chance?
No, I did not. I have to hear it.
I haven't listened to the whole thing yet. If you haven't heard, he released a song that's like 17 minutes long, one song. And it's about
17 minutes?
Yeah, and it's about the death of JFK, the murder of him.
Okay.
And it's real relevant, and it's supposed to be about other things as well. But I started to listen to it with my 16-year-old was there, and Jackie, and start playing it, and it's real slow, and he's just like, you know, he's kind of like, the man was in the car and he got shot in the head and then he died, and his wife crawled on the car and picked up his brains and tried to put them into his head. Oh, and it was like, it's a little bit more elegant than that, but after about 40 seconds, I was like, I can't listen to 16 more minutes of that right now. And everyone thanked me when I turned it off, but I will listen to it at some point just because, you know, I'm curious to see if it gets any better. But
these questions, can I answer them directly? Also, I think, are they on Facebook, or are the questions? Can I like say, go back to them? Okay. I'll find the thread.
Yeah. It's on my Facebook thing.
Okay. I'll just find it later and I'll answer it there.
After, are you gonna try to listen to it and then?
Well, I'll listen to it. Yeah, I'll reply, and then I'll watch the video with the American caricature. I'll reply.
Oh, okay. Nolan Harris says, how much can you curl?
Curl? I don't know. I've never tried. I could probably curl him.
I think so.
Curling like the Olympic sport, or curling like lifting like a burrito or something like that.
I think like you know, like the you know, curl the. I don't know, man.
I don't know.
Franz T says, this is not so much a question rather than a request. Would you ever do a demonstration on how to understand extreme exaggeration better?
How to understand extreme exaggeration better? Yes, but it's a lot more of a philosophical talk as well. It's not just you really have to get into the mindset of that sort of thing. I haven't done caricature in quite a while, but the concept behind it is more important than the demonstration. You know, like I can do the demonstration. It doesn't mean you're going to get it. What has to happen is like you have to have the mindset behind it, and you have to get into that sort of thought first and foremost. Otherwise, you're just emulating something that you don't understand. You know, and I think that's like the misconception with a lot of things. You know, style versus you know, I'd rather you formulate your own. I mean, he could do it. Anyone can do it. They just have to come to that conclusion themselves, I think. I think that's the biggest problem with caricature, I think, is emulating things. there's a difference between like inspiration, like, oh man, this guy is really pushing something, like, oh man, I really like the way he handled like the lines with this or the coloring, and I I would like people to like people. I myself am inspired to want to like have my own take on it. I usually am upset at myself when I see someone do something that I didn't think of. I'm like, damn it, why didn't I think of that? So I'm like, well, I'm not an idiot. I hope I'm not an idiot. I like to think of something that I can add to this. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to add the same thing. I want to try to come up with something new. And so that's where the pushing comes. I think the pushing, the conceptualization, it's really all it is. You're just creating another solution to a problem, if you think of it that way. Like you're inventing a new way to come to the end. You know what I mean? Like how do we solve this problem? We've drawn this nose many times. How do we come with a new solution? How do we take something that's been drawn a gazillion times and come with a new way to do it? Well, if you do what I did, then you're just copying what I did. You're not learning anything. You get that? You're just seeing how I did it, and then that's going to be in the back of your mind. You get it, and then that influences you, which is fine. But like, I would rather you just kind of like make your own sort of judgment calls in that, or come up with it in your own. When I think that's where like the talk has the sort of process and the steps and the talk. It's more like the philosophical. It's not philosophical, but it's just like it's more of like a discussion of like what really is happening here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
well, I think one thing that I think you're trying to say there is that I think with caricature, there's it depends on how far you're going to push things, or you want to push things exaggeration wise, but it's one of the difficult things about teaching it is that it has a lot to do with you. It's very subjective. It's how you see things, and you have to kind of recognize what makes a person unique, and special or whatever, and then you have to figure out how are you going to take that to the next level and take it somewhere different, unique, more creative, all while capturing the true essence of the person. But there you see it all the time. People out there just copying, like you see, like right now, a lot of people are doing these online things where every day they're drawing the same person, and and it's really good. I think it's great. I was doing a couple with Tom Richmond's thing. It's fun, just kind of sketching some of the same people that people are doing. But you start to notice that one person does like a drawing of the person, and everyone really loves that take on it, and then an hour later you start seeing people posting, and you can tell they're just drawing the same thing now. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You notice that at the caricature conventions as well. Like
Yeah, I mean, I get that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that there's nothing wrong with that, because that helps you. That helps push and helps you learn and stuff. But I really think it's important what you said is just like it really is all about you. Like you got to be able to work out that muscle. Yeah.
I mean, I think sometimes, unfortunately, like people oversee. Let's put it this way: people, it's not really. It is and it isn't. It's like instead of like going for like extreme caricature or whatever, like you want to call it, backtrack. Like really backtrack. Have a solid foundation in getting your likeness first. Do that first. Like people want to jump to that extreme, and then make it an excuse. Well, it's extreme caricature. You don't see it. Well, okay, great, but like, can you really get the likeness otherwise? You know what I mean? Like that's an issue for me. You get it? Like that to me is more important. Like if I trust you can get, it's like students who want to jump into color. I'm like, okay, that's great. We can do that. But like if your drawing is shit and you don't know how to block in things and have a value structure, and then like you have no business doing color. Yeah. Like what is your excuse? Well, I'm just painting in color. I'm like, well, you haven't like done the prerequisites to get to this point. You have no right to be here. So I think in a sense that before you decide to do extreme caricature, you need to pay your dues and be able to get a likeness of some degree. That's like undeniable, And I think that's where the biggest problem is. That's where I have a biggest issue. I can't discuss to you extreme caricature if you have issues getting a likeness right off the gate. You know what I mean?
For sure. Yeah.
It's like, okay. I think that's the first thing you should take care of. if you're a sound caricature artist, and you want to like push it further and venture out to something that's a little bit more experimental, but you have like a really good grasp on caricature and you get a great likeness, then you have no problem. It's not that difficult. It really isn't. It's just having your take on what is exaggeration, really. That's all it is, and just pushing it. But you have a foundation to start with. But if you don't have that sort of foundation to begin with, then your bearings are screwed up, completely screwed.
Mm-hmm. No, that's for sure. I thought it was hilarious that, like, when I first started my career in illustration, I was mostly focused on doing caricature illustration. I was influenced by like CF Payne and a bunch of those kind of guys that came before me that were doing that. And so that's what I focused on. That's what I really practice and push myself towards. But the funny thing is as I started going, I started realizing that, a lot of magazines I wanted to work for, little publications, were doing mostly realistic portrait type illustration work. And so I started trying to get that kind of work. And I remember like art directors being confused, like, wait a minute, you know how to do realistic portrait work? I was like, how do you think I was able to paint these caricatures that way? If I can't, you know what I mean? Like, of course I can do that. That's like, that's the, and I think that's really an important thing to understand is, it's like Picasso, like everyone knows of Picasso as the guy that was, 3 brushstrokes on a nipple, he just like was whatever. He was like abstract guy or whatever. But obviously, if you look into him, he was able to draw and paint very realistically. And like, I think by the age of 12, he was doing like insane paintings and stuff, and I always think that abstract is fine if that's what you're into, or conceptual stuff, whatever. But I think having that foundation of actually being able to draw and paint is only going to make you a much stronger, better artist, make you understand, where you can take it from that place,
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to hurt you,
No.
It's not going to hurt you by any
But
means.
it's like you said, like jumping into color when you don't understand values. You got to kind of slow down a little bit, and go back a little bit, back step.
Yeah, like I would offer, like, say, for a long time, people would be like, I would have like a drawing class, right? Like just getting people. A lot of people who do like the Sunday classes with me or weekend class, a lot of them are drawing, and some of them insist on painting. And so I'm like, okay, fine. You insist, we'll do it. Okay, but you're gonna pay me more money, and we're gonna do it. And it's gonna be painful because you're gonna realize through your experience that you're not ready. And we'll do it. And that's the only way to convince somebody. That's the only way. Like, you want to pay me more money for something that you're not ready for? Great, we'll do it. And I will convince you that you're not ready. You should go back to drawing. That's usually how it is. That's really how it is. I'm not asking you to. I'm not saying. What I mean? I'm not like I will never tell people, here's this class. It's amazing. It's magic. No, I'm not doing that. I'm telling you, it's not magic. It's a lot of hard work, and you're not ready. And it's like that with students.
Yeah.
Well, everyone wants to jump forward. The problem is that a lot of those bad habits or problems you carry with you. And when you get into like something more advanced, it compounds. So, it's the same thing with like caricature likeness. Like, if you can't get a likeness and you start getting all these crazy shapes and abstractions, like, well, it's like, what are you basing all this off of? What do you have in your mind that you feel this is relative to? You know what I mean? Like, then you start asking those questions, because even if you have even if you can have a really great likeness, even if you do great portraits and you've done caricature file, we all know, like, if you start exaggerating, you're going to start losing stuff. You're going to start losing things. You're going to start missing the mark. You might not get it. Now, imagine if you are someone who has a hard time getting a likeness. What makes you think it's going to get easier?
Yeah,
it's not. It's going to get harder. So, like, I don't understand. Like, again, stick to the foundation, stick to the basics. Be able to get a good likeness before you start to exaggerate. You know what I mean? Like, I never just exaggerated. Like, my first 2 years of caricature was just like, I was timid, I was afraid. I'm like, oh my God, I made the nose big. Oh God, it's crazy. Like, that's what it was. But I made sure it looked like them.
Yeah.
So, anyway, that's that. Speaking of, again, going back to the original question, yes, I have more free time now. I would like to offer that, but a lot of it is also just a discussion. It's like, what is in your mind? Why you're doing it? Why are you doing this thing? This and that, And it's definitely, I'm more of a hands-on type of person. So I like to have like one-on-one sort of conversations about things like this. And I like to try to like get you to like I like people to see what's inside my head, but also see what's in theirs and try to work with them, And that's how I am as a teacher as well, And it's very exhausting, but like I feel like it pays off at the end, So anyway.
Awesome. Okay, so we've got a couple other questions here. Edmund Lee says, why do you prefer PlayStation over Xbox? And what's your favorite fighting game of all time?
Well, let's see here. Way back in the day, I think it just has to do with more of a cultural thing. Like I would always attribute to like say Sony and PlayStation with a lot of the Japanese sort of culture, and a lot of the art and a lot of the games were very much just, how do I describe it? Why do I show, again, I'm like thinking out loud. I think they have better games. I think they have better exclusives. I think, that's the prime reason, I'm a Sony fanboy also. I definitely, I admit it. I own an Xbox because of Halo only, but now I stopped buying their crap. I don't know. I like their exclusives more. They have Spider-Man on there now. They have games like Horizon Zero Dawn. They have God of War, which is amazing. That's pretty much really all it is, to be honest. Fighting game. Favorite fighting game of all time. Oh man. For the Dreamcast, I love Soul Calibur. That was my favorite for a long time. Street Fighter 3, Third Impact, you're probably like, Jason's probably like, what is this? What are you talking about? And then Tekken. I think Street Fighter, Tekken, and Soul Calibur. As of late, unfortunately, I just can't get with like the new Street Fighter. The characters look clunky. The art style, I'm not really a big fan of. They have a new Dragon Ball game that came out, which is awesome because everything is all 3D cel shaded, but looks hand drawn. They've done a really good job with that. That's pretty damn amazing, actually. Arc Studios.
Sounds cool.
I'm geeking out right now. It literally looks like the anime, like the Dragon Ball anime. It literally looks like it's pretty freaking amazing what they're doing.
Wow, that's cool.
It looks pretty amazing. It looks pretty good. But you should get it for your daughters. They might like it on the Switch. But
it's on. They have it on Switch. Ava,
they have it on Switch.
Yeah, she's got one of those. She's like all into Mario Kart right now. She's
my niece too.
Yeah.
Totally into that.
So let's see. Tad Barney says, when are you going to pay him the money that you owe him? Hey, I think Tad owes me money because years ago, like I'm talking maybe 20 years ago, he commissioned me to do a drawing of him, and this fucker was wearing a flannel T-shirt, and I was basically, I was just getting started, just trying to get out there, and he hired me. I did a pencil drawing, rendered it as crazy, I was trying to render as realistic as I could at the time with a pencil and using blending stumps and all that kind of stuff. And he was wearing a flannel, and I remember just he still brings it up to me like, can't believe you drew that. Yeah, I can't believe I did either. You owe me money, buddy. Let's just put it that way. No, it was fun. I actually remember that drawing like so vivid, just because I remember the shirt was the craziest thing. Alani Jimenez says, what is your favorite caricature medium? Why? And what do you like? Wait, and what does he like to practice?
Caricature medium. I
mean, I
go through phases. I go through phases. For a long, just while working at the park, it was just like graphite and airbrush.
Yeah.
And they kind of like, that seemed to mesh really well with me. But like, I have not done a lot of caricature lately. If I would do it, it would probably be just graphite, and I'd go back into it and ink it with like a pen or a felt tip marker or something like that. I really just enjoy like structure and form when it comes to that stuff. So, and I might just like clean up the lines, erase the under sketch. But as of lately, can't go anywhere to draw right now. Can't do these guerrilla sketches, as we would call them. And I also, I don't, I really don't practice it. I don't practice it. I usually, if I'm out somewhere and sketching in a cafe or something, I love using the iPad. I might do it on my iPad now. That's become like my replacement for a sketchbook. And but in terms of the medium, I don't know. Like I think digital has become a thing now, more or less. But and then like practice, the whole practice thing is, it's not really a practice. It's more of like I'm inspired. Like I see this guy walking by, and I just take that in. I just take that in, and I just run with it. I guess that's practice, but it's more, again, it's just like pushing. It's going back to like practicing. Okay, I guess it is practice. I don't know. It's just practicing like the exploring. I think it's more like exploring instead of practice.
Yeah.
When you say practice, it's almost seems like you're trying to keep yourself in check or sharp. Or I think for me, character is always just something I explore, and it's just something fun. That's really, I like to see it that way. It's just an exploration of form.
Yeah, makes sense. Manny says, how does he stay so sexy?
Oh man. Answer that question. I wish I had a rebuttal. I wish I had like a good answer to that. But see here. I'll tell you what I don't do. Don't drink water. I drink coffee, and that's it. I don't smoke. I don't know. Lately, I started eating animal products again. That's it. I don't know. I don't know if that helps the sexiness.
Yeah. Okay. And Roger Hurtado says, boxer or briefs? And
nothing.
Or does he free ball it?
Nothing. Commando.
Are you serious?
Serious.
Are you serious, dude? You seriously free ball it?
Does it add to I bet that adds to Manny's sexiness. I bet.
Yeah. I don't know, dude. I don't know about that.
None of those are good enough for you, man.
Oh man, that's funny. That's awesome. That's cool. Hey, since we're here in your studio, those are all the questions, by the way. Okay. Would you want to like share what your new studio is like with everyone? Flip the camera around or whatever. I'd like to see it. I haven't been there yet. I wouldn't mind checking it out.
Well, let's see here. I don't know if you can see. So this is one wall here, and I don't know. Let's see here. Let's go back out. I'm trying to see the.
Oh, it looks awesome. For those of you that are only listening or only able to listen, you should subscribe and like my YouTube channel, and you can watch this.
Here's a recent drawing, like a pastel drawing. There's two colors and white.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah. Here's, again, it's just random stuff. I spent the last, we got here around New Year's, and I was in such a hurry to get the whole place set up, and the space I had before was so small. And, so here's a wall. It's probably bright now with the plants, But
it looks awesome.
Here, there's let me stick this light on here. There you go. So there's, you can see like a lot of I have a lot of still lives.
Excuse me. Whew.
Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
It looks awesome.
a lot of still life stuff and stuff like that. And, you know, over here I have like some awards. These things here.
Those big noses.
Just hanging out. A bunch of books. You know.
It's awesome.
So, yeah.
It looks good, man. It looks like a nice space.
Yeah, it's a good space, you know, and this end here. Got our work on the floor here, our work here. You know, I'm just kind of bringing this. It's a bit of a mess still, you know. This is the painting I was working on. So I'll try to finish it. I don't know what this looks like in the camera.
It looks good.
Kind of dark. Let's see here. Put your foot in the light. There you go. I don't know if that works. Let's see here. There you go. So,
awesome.
Got a lot of work up here. Here, let's look on another light, dude. There you go. And so, got a bunch of drawings up here. A lot of wall space now. I didn't have that before. So
that's so cool. So it's like got like more space to hang everything.
Yeah. So
that's awesome. Cool, man. That's awesome. So what have you been doing in Coronaville for food and stuff lately? You're cooking a lot more? Because I know you one thing about you is that you love to bake, you love to cook. You sent me a picture the other day. You made what was it? French rolls or something like that?
Oh yeah. So when
that looks so good.
Well, when I went to visit my sister, they do a lot of cooking and baking, and they have kids and stuff, and so like she made these French rolls are freaking amazing, and hers are still like freaking amazing. Yeah. And so I tried it the first time, and they kind of sucked, and the second time around they came out much better, but still nowhere as good. And yeah, I just one of my favorite meals is breakfast, so I just like having a big breakfast and added them to the breakfast, and I can almost like not eat for the rest of the day. It's funny, like some people say I eat like a bird because I'll eat like one big meal and then won't eat for the rest of the day. So
yeah,
but yeah, like I don't eat much. If I'm at the studio, I probably have like yogurt, but when I usually bake for like friends or students or people I care about mostly, I don't really care about myself. So
we made Korean barbecue last night. That was pretty awesome.
Oh, was that with the
yeah.
That thing is awesome.
With the pressure cooker, it was like chicken and broccoli and some rice. It was really good, man.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Brought it here to make it here too.
I'm gonna make myself some asparagus later. I've been eating a lot of asparagus lately. I just love it. I don't know.
This is good.
Yeah, I mean, my favorite thing is after you eat it and you take a pee and you can just smell it again. It's the best. Love that. No, seriously though, like it's funny. I got so embarrassed once. This is a little bit ago. I took my kids to the movie theater, and I had asparagus for dinner, and the urinals were just packed. So one of them opened up, and I had to go really bad, so I could stand there. And so there's guys on both sides of me, and I'm trying to go real quick so I can get into the movie, and I'm peeing, and dude, it was so strong, the asparagus smell, that I just was like sitting there going, "Oh, this is so embarrassing, man!" Like that like the guy standing next to you, like, "What the hell, man?
Oh man,
you stinky pee! Get your stinky pee out of here!" Oh. Aren't you glad though that doesn't happen with like everything you eat? You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, mine might smell like coffee because I drink a lot of coffee. So I don't know. I can't smell it anymore. I think I smell coffee.
Yeah, that's hilarious, man. Well, anyways, what do you got planned for the rest of the day today?
Just work on this painting I just showed you. Get that out of the way. I have a couple in mind that I want to do, keep myself occupied. That's pretty much it. And work on, some things for online.
That's cool.
Yeah. That's pretty much it. I have this whole studio to myself now.
Yeah, that's kind of weird, right? Is the building pretty much empty, or is there anybody else in there?
Yeah, in the building, there's there's a few people still in the building, but I think a lot of people, a lot of people use the building. A lot of people come here for work, and I'm guessing they are working at home or not working. No, because this building has a lot of like artists in it too, and what do you call it? Like woodworkers and furniture makers and stuff like that. So, it's pretty quiet now. It's been pretty quiet.
Awesome. Well, we've been talking for a little bit, and I have to go real soon to pick up Ava from her mom's house. But I just want to say thanks for hanging out, man. I thought we haven't caught up for a little bit, so I thought, hey, might as well do a few people out there sort of dig this Grigor guy. So I figured might as well just put it in the books. No, but it's really good to see you, man. And I can't wait for this to be, for this all to be over and we can all hang out again. It's so weird. And I guess I'll just end on my end here to just saying, first of all, again, thanks for Grigor for doing this, hanging out and talking with everybody and answering questions. But as far as everyone out there, I hope that everyone's being safe and doing well. And please just try to stay home for a little bit. Try not to do crazy, stupid things. Let's try to get this thing over with as quick as possible. And if you know people in need and you're able to help out if you can. Be good and be well. And I hope to see you all soon.
All
right. Talk to you soon, buddy. Love you, man.
Talk to you soon. Love you too, man. All right. Bye.
You want answers? The truth shall set you free. I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.